Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say Amen. Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say Amen.
Good morning. Welcome to Unity in the Heart, a Unity Spiritual Center in the heart of the Twin Cities. We are so glad that you are all with us participating in today's service. My name is Mary Copette, today's platform assistant. Today's service team consists of Dennis Curley, our resident pianist. Dennis will also be leading our congregational songs, accompanied by yours truly. It is also my pleasure to introduce our guest musician for today, Mr. T. Michael Rambo. We are so blessed to have your beautiful spirit and your voice. Thank you for being here. Our prayer chaplain today is Warren Wolfe, and Warren will be in the back of the room after the service for anyone who would like individual prayer. And before I introduce our speaker for today, I would like to remind all of you to be sure to turn your cell phones back on after the service. And our speaker today is new to our Unity in the Heart community, and we are so eager and so blessed to have him. Reverend Kevin Hudala is the newly ordained and newly hired pastoral care minister at Unity Minneapolis. Even though he is a newly minted Unity minister, he has vast experience and education in both the fields of psychology and spirituality. We are so anxious to hear his message today. And now Reverend Kevin will lead us in our opening prayer, followed by our first congregational song.
Please join me in prayer. I just invite you to settle in, take a deep breath, and just relax, setting aside anything that might have been occurring before this moment, this right now. And just center in. Sweet Spirit, we are grateful for the gift of life. We are grateful for the gift of this beautiful day. We're grateful for this spiritual community. We create a circle of love, and within that circle we call to mind our brothers and sisters around this city, around this country, and especially in this time, our brothers and sisters in Afghanistan and Haiti. We wrap them all in love, comfort, peace, and healing, knowing that we are all one. And so we bless this day, we bless this service, and we say, thank you, sweet Spirit. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Kevin. Our first of two congregations, heck, they're both in the white book. Look at that. You've got white books on your chair. The first one is number 16 in the white book, a song by Hiram Titus from over at Unity Minneapolis. Number 16, I am alive, aware, and awake. Let's stand and sing that together. I am alive, aware, and awake. I am alive, aware, and awake. Joyous and enthusiastic for life. I am alive, aware, and awake. I am alive, aware, and awake. joyous and enthusiastic for life. I see each morning as a new beginning. I greet each day as an opportunity to share. I'm breathing deep and I feel connected to all the love God's sending everywhere. I am alive, aware, and awake. I am alive, aware, and awake, joyous and enthusiastic for life. I am alive, aware, and awake. I am alive, aware, and awake, joyous and enthusiastic, joyous and enthusiastic, joyous and enthusiastic for life. That was enthusiastic, everybody. Thank you so much. You can be seated.
We have several announcements today. The first of which is that this coming Wednesday, August 18th, is our monthly prayer and meditation service via Zoom. If you would like to join us, and we hope that you will, just go to our website, unityintheheart.org, click on either events or calendar to find our meditation and prayer service. It's at 7 o'clock in the evening. And in the month of September, Unity World Day of Prayer is Thursday, September 9th. And on September 9th, we are going to be hosting a noontime prayer and meditation service specially for that day. The theme for this year's World Day of Prayer is All is Well. We also have a save the date notice for our fall picnic on September 19th. That will be immediately following service at Newell Park on the corner of Fairview and Pierce Butler. We can easily distance and do whatever we need to be safe outdoors. We hope you will join us. We will now recite our affirmation of faith, which is printed in your bulletin. Together. There is one and only one presence and power active in my life and in the universe, the all-loving and wise Spirit of God. Let us also recite our vision statement for Unity in the Heart. Led by Spirit, we recognize God within everyone as we co-create infinite love, peace, and abundance in our global community. The daily word for today, Sunday, August 15th, is joy. I say yes to the joy that invites me in this moment. Joy is the call of my heart. Whether I am at work or at play, I bring a spirit of joyfulness to everything I do. More than a mood or an attitude, joy is a part of me and mine to live and to share. Like all aspects of my divine identity, joy flowers in my consciousness when I hold joyful thoughts and feelings. I express my joy as the excitement of anticipation, fascination at a new discovery, deep satisfaction in a relationship, and the tranquil glow from communing with God in prayer. My joy is contagious, and I love to share in it. I have feelings of joy when I take part in a friend's or family member's joyous moments, their celebrations and accomplishments. I feel quiet joy when I offer encouragement, and even when I give comfort, grateful to share the care and love of God. Our Bible verse today from Thessalonians is simply, rejoice always. And now we will have our second congregational song.
And I want to say thank you, Mary Copet, for doing yeoman's work today. Our own Peggy George is enjoying a well-earned day off, and Mary somehow scheduled herself to both be the platform person and accompany me today. So I don't know how that happened, but it did, and she's doing a great job. Our second song is also in the White Book. It's number 21, Let Me Live from the Heart. And we're going to sing this through twice in a lower key and a higher key. So let's stand and sing together. Number 21, Let Me Live from the Heart. Let me live from the heart, doing what's been mine to do from the start. We all have a gift to share that can make a difference to someone somewhere. When we live from the heart, when we live from the heart, when we live from the heart. Let me live from the heart, doing what's been mine to do from the start. We all have a gift to share that can make a difference to someone somewhere. When we live from the heart, when we live from the heart, when we live from the heart. Thank you. You can all be seated.
Today I get to say extra prayers for my listeners. Thank you. The Unity Movement was founded on prayer. We would now like to focus our attention on our prayer needs today. Please take a moment to bring to mind any prayers that you may have. You may have a prayer of gratitude, a prayer of joy, a prayer of concern, a desire for yourself or someone else. Please bring all of those thoughts to mind at this time. And now let us pray together. Our loving God, we know that all prayers are answered in the perfect way and time. Our hearts and minds are filled with divine spirit as we feel the presence and power of God working through us. We affirm the highest good in all situations. Those present may place your prayer notes in the basket at offering time or in the prayer box after the service. We will hold them in prayer for 30 days at Unity in the Heart and then send them on to Silent Unity for another 30 days of prayer. Also, anyone at any time may send a prayer request to our prayer chaplains at unityintheheart@gmail.com. And now it is my great pleasure to introduce T. Michael Rambo.
Good morning. When I'm still, I can feel the peace within, the peace within my heart. When I'm still, I can feel the peace within, the peace within my heart. God is here in me. God is here in me. When I'm still, I can hear the voice within, the voice within my heart. When I'm still, I can hear the voice within, the voice within my heart. God is here. God is here in me. God is here in me. When I'm still, I can feel the love within, the love within my heart. When I'm still, I can feel the love within, the love within my heart. God is here. God is here in me. God is here in me.
Thank you so much, T. Michael. That was truly beautiful. And now please join me in welcoming to the podium Reverend Kevin Hudala.
T. Michael, you are a tough act to follow. So it's good to be with you today. This is my old stomping grounds. I grew up just several blocks from here. I attended Ramsey Junior High School, Highland Park, University of St. Thomas. At that time, it was still just a college. So thank you for allowing me to reflect on some of my memories from my much earlier years. Reverend Ray has worn a number of hats in my life over the last decade and a half. He has been minister, mentor, friend, student advisor, and colleague. I have a high degree of respect for him and for Robin, just for who they are and how they show up in the world. So I know that he is a blessing to this community. I know it without a doubt. Today, I feel like I'm the substitute teacher stepping in midterm and need to catch up on the studies in the class and so forth. So if I've done my homework correctly, you're in the middle of a journey of discovery in terms of the 4 agreements. Don, Miguel, Ruiz. The 4 agreements. And my topic is all about the 4th agreement. And that's all about always doing one's best. Stepping back, when you think about these 4 agreements, when we put them in practice, they allow us to live a more authentic, meaningful, and powerful life. For sure, what is required to put these into practice is becoming aware of our own limiting beliefs and then being able to challenge those and then release them, especially those that no longer serve us. As children, we take on so much negativity and negative beliefs about ourselves as if we create this internal judge that is always evaluating, judging, and criticizing ourselves. Most of all those negative and limiting beliefs that we take on unconsciously. We do that unknowingly. We are totally unaware of these agreements that we create with ourselves. So many of these powerful experiences of what we take on are connected to shame. And shame is one of the most powerful negative human emotions we ever experience. And it oftentimes puts a significant imprint on our psyche and on our soul. And we are moving forward, bringing these negative beliefs and this damage that we carry into our adulthood. And we keep those agreements that we created unconsciously when we were children. In order to live more authentically and freely, we must identify these negative beliefs and agreements and then release them. I say that we need to fire that internal judge. I also believe that what is required to heal is that we first become aware of them and let them go. And this does not happen without self-awareness and reflection to increase that self-awareness. I'm curious, how many of you had a perfect childhood where you were showered with unconditional love and you had unlimited possibilities presented to you ongoingly? Most of us did not have that experience. Oh, and I hope, little one, I know you will have more than I did. Most of us did not have that experience, including myself. Putting my psychologist hat on for a moment, I want to quote Sigmund Freud. He tells us that no one leaves childhood unscathed. No one leaves childhood unscathed. He also said that sometimes a cigar is just a cigar, but that's another topic for another lesson. The idea that we don't leave childhood unscathed, that's you and that's me, and that's where we have healing work to do. The fact is, I believe that we take on these limiting beliefs and we bring that forward into our adult world. Practicing the 4 agreements allows us to become much more aware of those limiting beliefs, and at least allows us to release them and step more and more into our authentic selves. The first agreement, this is review time to make sure you're paying attention. A couple weeks ago with Reverend Ray, be impeccable with your word. When I first read about this agreement, I thought that is so unity, because we are all about the power of the word. We believe, we teach that power in words we create with words. Words we use are powerful, and they can either build up or tear down. Whether those words be about ourselves, in our own internal thinking, or about others. Be impeccable with your words. As you may already know, impeccable comes from Latin, and it means without sin. So in this context, it's about our words that we use are without sin. Now, in our unity tradition, we do not think about or talk about sin in the more traditional sense. We actually think about sin as just missing the mark or truly error thinking. Linking error thoughts to words, I suggest that any word or any thought about ourselves or another that does not align with that truth of our own divinity, any word, any thought that doesn't align with that is error thinking or an error thought. This includes words that we would consider as gossip. Ruiz refers to gossip as pure poison. As truth students, we are mindful of the words that we use and the links to the power of words and how we are indeed creating every moment that we use them. This is especially true as it relates to our affirmations and things that we say following the words, I am. And typical affirmations might be, I am prosperous. I am vibrant health. I believe that becoming impeccable with one's words is an ongoing, lifelong process, and it requires intent, focus, and practice. Research tells us that in any given day, each one of us has about 60,000 independent thoughts in each day. About 60,000 thoughts. Now, if you're good at math, you can do some calculating here to figure out how many words that might possibly equate to. But think about it this way. How many of these words that we're using in our minds or with our voices are actually life-affirming and uplifting? How many might be connected to criticism, judgment, or gossip? Always remember, words are powerful and have the power to build up or tear down ourselves or others. Be impeccable with your word. The second agreement is don't take anything personally. Reese tells us that nothing others do is because of you. What they are saying or doing is simply a projection of their own reality, their own dream. When you are immune to the opinions and actions of others, you don't need to be victim of needless suffering, says Ruiz. When we take things personally, it's because we agree with whatever is being said. As I think about the four agreements, this is the one that is most challenging for me and requires ongoing work. I was raised with the concern and the importance of what others think. Many a time, my mother would say, especially when I was a little one, what will they think? What will your grandmother say? What will the neighbors say? I also think that being a people pleaser, there's a tendency to take things personally. I'm curious if there are any people pleasers here, or perhaps I'm the only one. As I mentioned, this requires ongoing attention for myself. I try to step back and coach myself in situations where I feel someone has hurt me and my feelings and said something negative about me. I have to remind myself that whatever is occurring, it's not about me. That's really a reflection of who that individual is. I also try to move myself from hurt and anger to a place of compassion. And when I'm in a place of compassion, I find that I suffer less and I have much more of an open heart for the one that may have hurt me. This is a practice. It's an ongoing practice of not taking anything personally. And it's about building up that immunity to the potential poisonous words of others. This second agreement helps to free us from all that related suffering. The third agreement, don't make assumptions. For me, this is a bit easier to practice, though it does require good communication as well as listening. There's tremendous wisdom in a statement that I believe you've heard more than once. That statement is assumptions make a out of you and an out of me. There's a tremendous amount of truth in those words. As human beings, we often make assumptions, and part of that is related to how our brains are wired. There's an efficiency factor in terms of how we process information, and that leads us to these assumptions unknowingly. The problem is that sometimes our assumptions are inaccurate. As I said earlier, the only way to avoid operating from assumptions is through good communication. Communication is not only about speaking, but also, more importantly, asking questions to understand at a deeper level, and then actually listening. Simply being present and listening to understand. Let me suggest, as human beings, we are predisposed to being lousy listeners. You may want to check with your spouse on this one. And it's about how our brains are wired. Most human beings speak at a rate of about 150 words per minute. Most human brains can process at a rate of about 450 words per minute. That's why as you are listening to me speak right now, you are thinking, what is the point this guy's trying to make? What time are we going to be done with service today? And what am I going to have for lunch? So to truly listen, we need to quiet that internal chatter in order to be present and really truly understand and hear what people have to say so that we are not making assumptions. The bottom line is that we will have a much more rich life and we'll have more harmony, peace, and joy in all our relationships when we don't make those assumptions. The fourth agreement, always do your best. This agreement is always about the action of the first three. One might say that the fourth agreement is the engine that drives all of this forward. These four agreements are truly spiritual practices. And you know what they say about practicing? Practice makes progress. Not perfect. The truth is that these three agreements will only work if we are focused on and committed to always doing our best. And the reality is, our best varies from day to day, moment to moment. If I am well rested, centered in my source, all of that, my best is going to look one way. If I'm not well rested, if I'm not centered in source, my best is going to look a different way. It's important to make some distinctions about doing one's best. Ruiz tells us that if we try too hard to do more than our best, we will spend more energy than is needed. And in the end, our best will not be optimal or satisfying. When we overdo, we deplete our bodies and go against ourselves. And it actually takes longer to accomplish our goal. But if we do less than our best, we subject ourselves to frustration, self-judgment, guilt, and regrets. Doing our best is about taking action because we love and enjoy what we are doing. We're not taking action purely to accomplish the goal or to get the reward. If we like and enjoy what we're doing, we naturally do our best. In that state, we are really enjoying life. We are typically having fun, not getting bored, and we don't have all sorts of frustrations. When we focus on doing our best, we learn to accept ourselves fully and unconditionally. When we attempt to do our best, it's important to be focused on doing our best with whatever is in front of us at the moment, rather than that focusing on the future goal or reward. A perfect example of this that comes to mind for me comes from the movie Forrest Gump, one of my favorite. Maybe you've seen that. And you think about that main character, Forrest, and no matter what he was doing in all of his adventures and all the different situations he found himself in, he was always putting his heart into whatever he was doing. He was not necessarily focused on some goal or outcome. He gave his all in each and every moment. It was this, he was focused on enjoying the process rather than the outcome. And this is all about being in the moment and learning to enjoy the ride. Doing one's best was ingrained in me from a very young age. My parents had 5 sons. I was the second of those 5. And my dad was former military, and so he brought some of that orientation to child rearing. And there were times when he acted as if his 5 sons were his own little platoon. My dad set high expectations for us and was always about doing whatever we were doing in a state of excellence. This resulted in me taking on some perfectionist tendencies that I carry with me to this day. Some of that serves me, and some of it does not. As a kid, I remember simple things like Saturday morning chores, less than a mile from this spot, Fairview and Goodrich, clipping and trimming the hedges as well as the edging on the sidewalk. And my dad, no matter what he was doing, was always focused on it had to be in a state of excellence. I recall edging the lawn with an old-fashioned hoe and a hand clipper because my dad wanted nothing to do with those fancier types of edgers. There were many a time when my dad would come by to inspect my work, and it wasn't unusual that I would have to do some rework or redo. For sure, my dad got me focused on always doing my best. That said, what I've come to deeply believe is that when we are focused on doing our best only for the outcome or the reward, the joy of the journey or any possibility of joy for what's in front of us in that moment is diminished. Additionally, in the last few years, I have especially become very aware of how my tendency to do my best and that perfectionist stuff was actually born out of feeling unworthy, not good enough, and having to prove something. Can any of you relate to that? Much of that fueled me to accomplish wonderful things in terms of educational degrees, acquiring things, promotions, and the like. And while there are benefits to what I've achieved, especially lately, I've had plenty of sadness and grief with the realization that so much of what I was doing my best in was actually about me not feeling worthy, good enough, or lovable. This has been a significant part of my own healing, as well as my own psychological and spiritual growth. While I think it's important and will continue to focus on doing my best, I'm much more cognizant about trying to enjoy the process and the journey rather than being completely focused on the goal and the outcome. For me, this is an ongoing process because I'm combating decades of habits and patterns. So I still work on this, and I am a work in progress in this regard. Even as I prepared this talk, that internal critic and that perfectionist stuff creeped in. I had to ask it to be quiet, please. I encourage you and all of us to always do our best. Always do our best. And doing our best and being in the moment and enjoying what's in front of us are not mutually exclusive. So if you find yourself doing your best and not engaged in the moment, that's a good clue that something might be a little bit off. So again, do your best. Next week, Reverend Ray will continue this journey of discovery with the newer fifth agreement. And this is based on the sequel to the four agreements. And it shines new light on the wisdom in order to help us master ourselves, cultivate deep awareness, and be who we really are. The fifth awareness, or the fifth, is all about the power of the self and returns us to authenticity, and that authenticity that we were born with. Simply put, the fifth agreement is all about living authentically and living in the now. Let's take a time and move into meditation.
In the silence there is peace. In the silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there's release from a world full of chaos and noise. So I wait for these precious moments when I hear all that could never be said, and right here in this holy silence I find God, I find myself.
Moving into the silence, getting in deeper touch with oneself, moving into that place where there is peace, where there is joy. I invite you to take some deep and relaxing breaths and just sink into your heart space. If you're comfortable and haven't done so already, you're welcome to close your eyes. You may even wish to place your hand on your heart as that gesture of going within. Gently release and let go of any thoughts or things or feelings that inhibit you from simply being present and at peace. Release and relax any tension you may find in your body. Quieten your thoughts. Breathe in love. Exhale gratitude. let go, completely relax, and just feel yourself surrendering into the arms of unconditional love. I invite you to use the power of your imagination. Imagine that you are relaxing and enjoying that perfect summer day from one of your favorite summertime locations. This could be the lake, the woods, the ocean, your own backyard garden. Picture yourself in that spot and feel what it's like to be there with a heightened sense of aliveness, as well as a deep sense of appreciation. You may feel a gentle breeze coming off the water or across a field. You may feel the warmth of the sun caressing your face. You may smell the scent of flowers or forest. You may hear leaves rustling or waves gently lapping the shoreline. Take all of this in for just a moment or two. Breathe all of it in. Feel yourself in that special place. Celebrate these feelings and sensations. In this state of appreciation and awareness, please allow my words to wash over you and to become your own. I realize that life is a wonderful gift, and it brings with it the promise of infinite possibilities. And with this promise of infinite possibility comes the personal responsibility for creating a life I love, a life of joy. I create a life that I love by first being clear about my heart's desires, and then by setting goals that align to those desires. It is said that one's desire is God knocking at the door of our heart. And that desire is the onward impulse of the ever-evolving soul. In my heart, I know that I am worthy of authentic and prosperous living. I am completely deserving of having a life of joy and fulfillment. I am free of limiting and negative beliefs. I am impeccable with my words, with myself, and with others. I do not take anything personally, nor do I operate based on assumptions. I am committed to always doing my best. And my best is less than I desire. I am gentle and forgiving with myself. We now take a few moments and gently rest in the quiet and in the silence. I invite you to gently return to this time, this place, bringing with you a greater sense of your own unlimited abundance and possibility. clarity about your heart's desires, along with important practices for creating a life of authenticity, a life of joy. And so it is. And so we just simply allow it to be.
Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. Be still, be still, be still, and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. Be still, be still, be still, and know that I am God.
Thank you, Reverend Kevin, for a thoughtful and powerful message and the open-heartedness and humanity with which you share it. Thank you. Now is the time when we acknowledge that all we have comes to us from God, our source. With our gifts, we express our openness to give and receive and our gratitude for God's generous supply.
My gift goes forth on the wings of love, and it lands where it can heal and bless. It returns to me, multiplied 1,000-fold, as the universe says yes, yes, as the universe says yes.
Let's join together in our affirmation for gifts, which is printed in your bulletin. Together. Divine love and wisdom flowing through me, bless and multiply all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I am. Let's join together in blessing our gifts. With grateful hearts, we bless our gifts and say thank you, God, for the abundant blessings we enjoy. We release our gifts as they go out into the world, expressing God's unlimited love, abundance, and supply. For those who wish to contribute electronically, you will find a donate button on our website, or you may mail a contribution to us at Unity in the Heart, 1898 Eigelhart Avenue, St. Paul, Minnesota, 55104. And now we will be blessed again by T. Michael Rambo.
I have to say, Reverend Kevin, thank you so much as well. As Mary pointed out, your offering and your talk was just, as a person in recovery, I don't know why I didn't know that it's progress, not perfection. 32 years of this stuff, and I didn't get that when I felt like such a clunker. Oh my goodness. But I did get the one thing, that idea of listening. To listen, one must be silent, quiet oneself. And I want to offer something that someone gave me, that the word listen and silent are made up of the same letters. And it's no accident. And there's something in that that must correlate the significance of quieting the mind and allowing oneself to offer just a moment to recognize how important it is to be our best selves and to be just a little bit kinder.
If I could sing a song in any language, talk to the angels, I know everything, even solve the mysteries of the universe. Without love, it wouldn't mean a thing. Make me kinder, make me stronger, make me better, help me grow. Be more loving and more caring in the spirit as best I know. If I could predict the future or undo my past, even have the power to move a mountain, without love it wouldn't last. Make me kinder, make me stronger, make me happy, help me grow. Be more loving and more caring in the spirit as best I know. Look at the world today. Try to see what is real. Only when we look through the eyes of love can we begin then to heal. Love, make me kinder, make me stronger, make me happy, help me grow. Be more loving and more caring in the spirit as best I know. Make me stronger, make me kinder, make me better, help me grow. Be more loving and more caring in the spirit as best I know.
Thank you so much, T. Michael. And thank you to all who participated in today's service. Together we made it happen. And please feel free to share us or like us on Facebook, share us with your family and friends. All are truly welcome here. In closing, let's sing our peace song, followed by the prayer for protection. And T. Michael, if you would like to add your voice, I'll invite you back to the microphone.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as our creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Go in peace and have a great week. Thank you.